Hello, my lovelies. I'm Sinead, and welcome. Today we're going to put together some of the little toys that I purchased as kit form from Wooden Tales. But before we get started on that, I kind of wanted to give a little tour of what's going on this floor down here. So Maddie's got the bed. He's got a mattress and everything. The little cabinet next to him right here, this cabinet, is from the living room. I pulled it out of the living room. And here is a couple of the toy kits that we'll be putting together one of these today. And this is another little toy block set. And I have a different style, but we'll be putting, I'll show you, the boxes go together the same. So I'll show you how that goes together. And there were two strollers, as I think I said before, and this one was missing a piece. And that's how I ended up with two strollers, is I got a whole bunch of stuff all at once, let them know what pieces were missing, and I thought they would just ship me a replacement piece. And instead they sent me a whole new kit. So we ended up with two strollers, and I just put it together without the foot piece. I could have replaced it, but I decided not to. And then you may recognize the shelf here. It is also from the living room. I'm gonna have to build a bookshelf for the living room now, but this was always intended to go in the kids' room nursery area, and I got it all painted. Let's see, is there anything else on this floor? The other thing that happened was that the loft bed, you'll note, is not in here. It didn't fit. It wouldn't clear, and I even took off the little final pieces off the top, and then I could just get it in here, but then you couldn't use it as bed. It was just too close to the ceiling. But it's okay. It worked out actually really well. I will eventually want to put another bed like Maddie's, like something similar to that, and maybe a second crib. But the loft bed fits perfectly up on the top floor, and that is where little Miss Jane here is going to have her area. And Jane has a little mini me called Jody, and Jody's in the process of getting her custom face up finished finally. I carved both of their faces. This is a midi Blythe, and the other one's a petite Blythe. And I put a lot more effort into carving the petite Blythe, but it got a little intimidating on the painting end of things, and it just sat there. And I don't even want to look at how far back it was that I finished that and how long it's been sitting. But it's moving forward now, where we're ready to put some paint on that face, and then I may end up redoing Jane's face because you know, I need to bring it forward maybe to match better. I don't know, haven't decided yet, but that's what happened with the loft bed. It is the only kit that I finished that I didn't get painted. And that's the other thing I didn't show you. The dollhouse got painted, and when we're gonna move, don't knock over the baby. And all the little furniture, I decided to do all the furniture the same color, and the interior is blue and the exterior is pink. And I love it. I love the way it looks. Very happy with how that kit turned out. So let's go over to the desk and put together some kits. Here are the three kits that I am going to assemble. You have the stroller over here, the little rolly toy, this one's a fox, and the box of blocks. And this box of blocks had two sets of blocks. One had the alphabet and the other one had numbers. And so I painted the side that had the lasered on images. And then there were 4 printed pictures included that you could choose from, or obviously you could choose to create your own. But basically you put glue on the back side of your picture and then line up your letters or your numbers on the back side of that in the glue. So let it set up, and then you have this ready to be cut apart. and it'll all fit back together properly. And what I did to prep it for cutting was to fold it and make sure that everything was lined up, and that I didn't have any paper peeling up. Some of these have paper peeling up, so that if the paper is peeling up, you make sure that you're folding it where you can re-glue it in place wherever it is lifted, and then take and set it down on a cutting surface with your craft blade. Cut through that area, and it should well, it went really smoothly. I'm trying to remember what I'm doing different. From the paper side. Yeah, there we go. That's how it worked. And then you cut each of these apart, doing the same thing, just setting it down and cutting. And if any of the paper has lifted up, I was going to find over here, I've got some paper that's lifted up. You just glue that back down, and obviously my paper split or something there. But just make sure that you don't let it get away from that block so that it goes back in the right place. And then you can, you have a little puzzle to put together. These block puzzles were some of our favorite when the kids were little. We had a set that had 6 pictures on square blocks that you could switch up the picture by moving the blocks around. And it was kind of a favorite toy. Simple, but very, just the bright colors and stuff. It was fun. And that didn't go there. You see me still. I'm still distracted by and fascinated by putting it together and getting the picture to come together. And there it is. And then you'll have 2 of those, and they fit in this box. So the box is assembled simply enough by gluing the tabs around the plain bottom on this one. The other one had an outline of the building blocks. So the first thing I did was to paint the box. And then now we're assembling that box. And this one is pretty easy. I mean, it's not, they both are pretty easy, except the other one I think had long sides and short sides, but because of the way that the dovetail joint works, you can't really mess it up. There's like only one way to put it together. We're going to use the axle over here. Pull that glue out. On your last piece, you just have to glue both ends, put glue on both ends. Slide it in. And you'll note that it's really easy to go out of square on this. So once you've got it together, gently pick it up, wipe off your excess glue. Oh, and that was one thing I wanted to say. Having painted these before assembly kind of convinced me that all of that furniture should be painted before assembly. It made it so much easier. So once you've got your wall together, you have your bottom ready to go, and you put glue around the edge and slide. You're going to slide your sides over it, and that'll keep maintain their square. I mean, they will be, it'll solve all the movement. It'll eliminate that. It might be easier to just put it on the flat surface and make sure your sides are still together. And then check the bottom. If it's lifted at all, put it back down and push it down against your flat surface. And then you've got that ready to go. The lid, really simple again. I did some paint on the top here. And everything I painted using milk paint. It's a natural old style paint. And then I actually used Mod Podge to seal it. And another brand of sealant. Anyway, the Liquitex sealant. And so the milk paint has a flat surface. It looks very much like very flat paint, wall paint. And by putting the sealant on there, you get rid of that flat paint look. And I know there's other inexpensive flat paints out there. So, you know, put a sealant on it and you get an easier to clean surface. We're going to focus here on putting this together now. So your lid has a piece that glues onto it that sets down into the box. So you're going to put glue around that simple little edge and then put it onto the flat top on the underside, and then just try to get it centered. You know, just, you could take measurements, I guess, and mark where this is, but I just put it on here and try and eyeball it into place and try and get it as close to center as possible. And a toothpick for cleaning up is handy because it will affect how it sets down on the box if there's bits of glue here. But since we pre-painted and pre-sealed all these surfaces and the glue dries clear, there's less cleanup necessary. And it would have been good if I'd gotten a toothpick out. Would work better. Anyway, once you've got that set in place, try and set it down where it's clean. And let it dry, and let it set up. And then we're going to move over here while this is setting up. I think I'm going to move that back there. There is some glue here from that. I'm trying not to set the painted surfaces in it. So what I discovered on the stroller was that the axle doesn't really isn't long enough. It is a little shy of making it all the way. So I put the axle in one wheel, glued it in place so that, you know, that could set up, and did that on 2 wheels. And when I was putting it together on the other side, discovered there wasn't enough length, and you could just glue the wheels in place. The gluing it to the axle and all the frustrations of possibly getting this crooked are eliminated, because yeah, you are likely to get this crooked. It's a little loose in the joint, especially with the pull toys or wheel toys. They don't have any strings on them, but they do have a tendency to be really loose in there. These are different lengths. Okay. Now I'm curious what was going on there. Is this the same length as that one? So we're going to have to see where we're at on this. Wow, okay. We're going to just assume that the two that are the same length are the axles. Sometimes, well, the axles on the pull toys were not the same length from one kit to the other. So you just kind of had to decide whether or not you wanted it to be extra long or not. In fact, I will go and grab... Okay, those look like they're the same length. I'm going to grab the little guys. So this has a little bit of play, just a tiny amount of play in it. And that's the short axles. And they are a little wobbly in here to where you would get an uneven roll. And would make the toy wobble back and forth, which some of the toys that my kids had when they were little were designed to do that. So that's kind of cool, actually, in my opinion. And then we're going to wait to see what I would normally do is I'd set up these, and then what I did last time is I glued the third piece into the handle. And I think what's going on here is that they left some room for play. So setting it up beforehand is probably not a good idea. So like you need to do it all at once, like glue the whole stroller together and put the handles on and put the piece that goes between the hand on here all at the same time. And I was just trying to eliminate some play, some wet spots, and because sometimes when you're gluing these wheels on, having too many places with soft glue that is gonna give causes you to have the whole thing fall apart, and it's frustrating. So I was just trying to eliminate some frustration by gluing the axles in on one side so that it was only one, so that it was partially set up. I guess it's not all that important, but it's how I did it, and I kind of felt better about it. These are fitting, this axle is fitting a lot tighter than the last one, so maybe they just had a complete different, axle situation happen from one kit to the next. So I'm letting that set up just a little bit. I'm going to move over here and start assembling the stroller. So it has these lines lasered in, and if you used acrylic paint, you won't be able to see them. The dark blue paint also covered them for the most part. But if you can still see them, then put them to the inside and use them to let you know which piece goes where. The longest piece is the bottom. The next one, we'll call this Papa Bear, and this is Mama Bear and Baby Bear. And they go together like so. So we then just glue up one side. Trying to make sure you stay clear of the holes on the bottom, because if you block it at all, you of course are going to have some difficulties there. This glue, it's not as important that it be removed. It's really not. Especially if you have a glue that dries clear. But you want to make sure that you aren't accidentally putting this in here the other way, because then the other side won't fit on. So you're just looking to make sure that the distances are the same there, so that you have the width going where the width of the stroller, not the, like, putting this in the wrong way would make a short, weird piece. Not that anybody would do that, but, it could happen if you weren't really certain what you were doing, and making, again, sure that you haven't run into the hole. you have options here. You can put it together and have it not fit the other side. So I thought the other, you know, without the foot board on here, I was thinking it looked kind of like the little kid strollers, you know, that you sit up in, and that this looks more like a baby stroller that you lay down in. And, you know, it's all stuffed animal and doll play. So that's fine. And you could wait until that was set up more. But I didn't here. I just went ahead and put this together. And I guess it gives me a chance to see that I've got it centered on here. And making sure that my holes, again, are not blocked by the bottom or the ends. And then we just set that aside and let that dry. And go back to this one, because this should be set up enough. So you just slide this in here. Put some glue on the end of your axle. And I was trying not to accidentally glue the wheel to the side of these toys. So see how I got the glue there is going between the two? You want to make sure you get that cleaned up. And then set it down to where until that's dry, so that the wheel that has the wet glue is up and away from the toy, the body of the toy. Make sure we're not sticking. And then set it down like on its side so that the wet glue is up. As long as your glue isn't really runny, it won't run down and cause a problem. It'll stay where it's supposed to be. Let's see if we can move to this part. I will endeavor to not squeeze too hard. This is really tight fit. It looks like, so even if you got the wheels where they weren't up against the stroller, it's not going to turn. The axle is just not going to turn in there. So it's not ever, no matter what you do, going to turn. You would have to substitute a smaller dowel here that then would not fit in the wheel. So we're just trying to get it glued together so it looks right. And we're going to go ahead and just stick it up against the sides of the stroller. And this axle is just a little bit longer than the one on the other stroller. Again, they weren't consistent with the lengths that they included in the kits. So you could, I guess, check it. I'm going to go ahead and stick that. So my glue wasn't dry, so it was easy to move those. If they come off later, I guess I'll have to re-glue them. Always a possibility. And if I had dry fit this before sticking glue on either end, well, I could have known that the axle was too long and cut it off. But I didn't. So on this, on the handle, yeah, you can pretty much place this wherever you want. Like if you wanted it here so that when you're pushing, in fact, that was what I was going to do. That was what I was going to do. So let's do that. Let's clean this off. Since the other one was dead, we're gonna put this on this end. So that you can see your dolly when you push it. You being the doll. All from the dolly's perspective, right? So how much space? Does it look about right? I think it does. Now we get this. Okay, gonna put this through. I can see already that we could cut off part of this, and I think I'm going to. Because I'm just not interested in having it that much too long. And yes, you probably should take a measurement. So, yeah, I really preferred gluing it up beforehand and on one side. Just took some of the guesswork out. Okay, make sure everybody's still in place down at the bottom. Looks fairly even. And the stroller's done. And the fox is done. And I think this, there we go. Probably should wait till it's completely dry, but then it slides in there. Because it's square, should go in either way. It looks like it will. But we have glue someplace, yep. So I'll probably have to take a toothpick to that. Oh no, we've got this. There we go. This is partially set up glue. It's stopping the lid from going on. We have it over here too. See, I should have had something to clean up these inner corners. And chances are this glue will also cause some issues on these inner corners with the blocks. I don't know how tight the fit is, and I don't want them stuck in the glue, so I'm not going to slide them in until it's dry. If there's a problem, I'll get some sandpaper or something in there, or bring this knife back out, clean it up. But that's how the box goes together. And then you can put both sets of these blocks into the box. Blocks go in the box. I hope that the assembly of these Wooden Tales toys inspires you to go out and maybe create some kits of your own, or just design up something, because these are really simple, flat cut pieces. And it just seems to me that, you know, if we can't access purchasing from that company anymore, that there's no reason why we can't go and get creative and make up our own, which I will be doing, because, you know, now I need some more furniture and I can't purchase it from them anymore. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a delightful day and a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.